All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome to another episode of Trading WTF. In this episode of Trading WTF, we focus on heated geopolitical situation and how it may or may not be affecting various financial markets. We have today Andrew Mitchem as our special guest. His background as a professional Forex trader and coach. We'll go through along with his journey and how he helps traders worldwide prosper. Andrew is a passionate Forex trader, funds manager, speaker, and trading coach. He has been trading the Forex market full-time since 2004. Andrew seeks to help people create personal and financial freedom and wealth through trading the Forex market. He is the owner of the Forex Trading Coach Limited. He assists traders from over 41 countries to realize their dream of becoming successful Forex traders. His YouTube channel has over 400 extremely insightful videos, which have racked up well over 1 million views. Andrew is a Forex Guru at Forex Peace Army. Oh, nice. I've probably read some of your stuff. Okay, cool. Providing daily commentary and analysis for the popular Forex trading blog trusted by hundreds of thousands of traders. That was probably me at some point and still is. Always check it out now and then. Andrew, anything you'd like to add to the introduction?
No, that's covered a lot of it, Michael. The only thing I would say is, since I'm not sure where you got the 41 countries from, that must have been a while ago. We're up to 99 countries now, but we have coaching clients in 99 countries. So we're just looking for the one more country around the world to give us our 100, which is pretty awesome. We're pretty pleased with that.
How many languages?
Well, I speak one very badly, and I pretend to sometimes speak English and very occasionally very bad French. No, it's all in English.
Okay, well,
but we do have a guy that's converted into Russian as well, so we do actually cater for the Russian community as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, great. So we're at 99 countries.
99 countries, yeah.
I got a Jay-Z song in mind. Nice.
That's good.
Awesome. 99 countries. Awesome. And cool. And I guess so you're a trading coach. You want to explain a little bit about that and how it helps traders improve their lives and results and how you work with them?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, number one, I trade myself anyway. So what we're doing is actually showing people how we're trading. We only have one strategy, and that keeps it real simple. And it's the strategy that I spent probably about 4 years when I started, like everybody, going around in circles, just trying everything possible, doing courses, EAs, ebook, or there weren't ebooks back then so much, but, everything basically to try and make it work, and it wasn't working. And then when things came right, I developed a strategy over what I've learned, and then that's what I still trade today, and that's what we teach. And so because we're doing this ourselves anyway, the teaching side of it's really enjoyable because it's just very satisfying to help people who want to learn this. So I kind of say to people, well, to me, I look at it and say, if you want to do this properly and you want to come on board and learn the way that I trade, it's going to massively shortcut your learning curve, like the frustration, the losses, all those that you're inevitably going to have. And so you're coming on board with a ready-made system and strategy that's been through all sorts of conditions, like we've just had the Russia-Ukraine thing happening today, but we've seen events, over the last 15 plus years, whether they be political, whatever they are, COVID related, whatever it is, we've seen all those events, yet the technical way that we trade still remains the same and still works. So it's just giving people a good solid strategy and foundation, but giving them real-time help and assistance as well. We're not kind of what you would call like economists, where they tell you what's happened in hindsight. We're telling you this is what we're doing now and helping people in real time. And I think that's the big difference with what we provide.
Yeah, I think that was pretty bold. Like when we were chatting just before we got on, you said you took some trades earlier in the live session with your group, and live trading, that's the difference, and that's really what people are looking for is starting off in the retail space, going more to the institutional side, but after making my way through 10,000 clients or more, helping them out. It's really like the first little bit is hand holding. A lot of it is hand holding and building the confidence. So if they can, and confidence comes from success. So when you can get success in the class, you can build the confidence, and then from there, it just snowballs. Yeah.
Exactly. And so what we trade is just basically patterns. So, patterns that you see on the chart. And so therefore, it doesn't matter if it was like yesterday, we took 6 crypto-based trades, all sell trades that worked. And it doesn't matter if you're trading that or if you're trading the euro US dollar. It doesn't matter if you're trading a weekly chart or a 4-hour chart. The pattern that we're looking for is the same. And so I think what it does, because we have a variety of different markets now with, not just Forex now, we're now looking at the commodities, the indices, the cryptos, as well as the Forex. And of course, there's more and more Forex pairs that you can trade these days as well. But we've got different time frames as well. And it's just giving people the confidence to be able to see that pattern and know that with high probability, if you see that pattern, probability suggests that, with the way we enter and exit the market, the probability suggests it's in your favor. And most of the time those trades will work. And also we ensure that we have high reward to risk in our trades as well. And so you get a profitable trade and it's 2 or 3 times your risk. And I think that's a big part of trading as well for confidence for people. They see accounts grow fast, and when they have drawdowns, they're small. So that, big step up, small step down. And I think that's a big key to profitability for people as well.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the new asset classes, the new world of the digital realm, and being teaching, mentoring, and walking people through the space, I saw my friend actually this morning. He's a teacher in Australia now. I think he's a high school teacher, and his comment on Facebook was, he's like, I dealt with kids. He's like, everything I deal with their kids and their cell phones. He's like, first it was WhatsApp, now it's Snapchat, now it's everything. And he's like, now it's dealing with the kids checking their NFTs, the prices of their NFTs and their crypto wallets in the middle of class. And I'm like, and he's complaining about this. And I was like, why don't you look at it from another perspective? Why don't you see it from the perspective where you can teach your kids financial education and they're actually really interested in it? And like, this is, for me, like, someone who's in the financial industry, and I'm like, where's the next generation of traders going to come from? And hearing that everybody is looking at their phones and their wallets and everything, and it's like, I'm like, this is the future. The future is here. What are the services that we got to make sure we have the services for them? We got to make sure that the experience is going to be there for them. Like everybody, all those kids, they're all on FTX right now, and it's pretty interesting. It's like the future is here, the money is here. It's kind of like I feel so old right now, but it's also, you see the future. You see the future is coming, and And speaking of the future, like, I guess, like, maybe let's jump in. I'll jump into some other questions, but well, the future's here. Like, let's talk a little bit about current events and what's happening with the markets. And there's Russia, Ukraine, like, what, and then what's that? How does that affect markets? How does that affect trading?
Well, I think it's going to certainly add a lot more opportunity for us. Now, I don't want to obviously make opportunity out of a war situation, but the reality is I'm stuck here in New Zealand. I can't do a lot about a war in Russia and in Ukraine. But on the markets and on the charts, it's certainly opened up a lot of fantastic trades over the last just 24 hours. And prior to that, the market for the last couple of weeks on the longer time frame charts, I found has been a little bit quiet. And it's almost, and now I'm a technical trader. I don't really trade fundamentals, but of course I'm aware of what's happening. And I kind of have a feeling that what's happened over the last couple of weeks is everybody's been waiting for, is Putin going in or not? and that's like, you know, we've got through the majority of the world's got through the COVID. New Zealand was still stuck in the dark ages, and unfortunately we're still in it all. But, you know, the rest of the world's moving on, and so it's like the market's been waiting for something to happen, and now it's happening. The market's got more volatility back into it, therefore there's more movement, therefore there's opportunities, and I think, you know, purely from a trading point of view, what's happened is now going to probably help us. You know, there's chances that out there, there's opportunities on, when I'm looking at what's coming up for today, there's great opportunities setting up for today. Like I said, yesterday we took those 6 crypto trades. We also took trades on 12-hour charts, Singapore yen sell, Euro yen sell, and Aussie, Canadian, New Zealand franc sell. And all 4 of those plus the 6 cryptos all worked out beautifully. Took some webinar trades yesterday. 2 out of 3 worked. So there's movement back in the market, which is good.
So I guess volatility is coming back and stuff like that. So how did you place your trades in terms of understanding that volatility is coming? Or, since you said you're mostly technical and not based on fundamental. Yep. So
yeah, so the movement must have been there, you know, for us to take it and see it technically. The movement had just started, and so with the cryptos, for example, we were selling yesterday on 6 of them. There's like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, Ethereum. There's ADA, Litecoin, Stellar, you know, some of those. And so they'd been recently in a downtrend, but they'd pulled back, and then they were looking like they were dropping again. And we were trading these on 8-hour charts yesterday. And so I love to trade what I call a continuation pattern. So with those trades yesterday, they dropped, they pulled back, and then they were looking like they were dropping again. We were still out for profit before the previous swing low, but it gives us that opportunity to trade with the main trend, but after a pullback. And you know, no, obviously, like cryptos, they tend to all mirror each other. So, you know, because one you know, had that pattern, a lot of them were showing the same pattern at the same time, and they all worked out beautifully. It's the same with the yen pairs and the other 2 that I mentioned. They were all showing continuation patterns of a main trend after a pullback, and that's a safer way of trading, in my opinion.
And do you use any special indicators along the way to help identify that?
Yeah, I've got a few. I'm mindful of not using like a lot of the traditional indicators, because a lot of them tend to kind of show the same thing, and they're a bit too much, you know, historical weighted. So I'm always like, I look at the candle first of all. I only trade on the close of a candle, so I know exactly when to look at the charts. So I don't trade like mid candle. If I'm trading a daily time frame chart, I only trade once a day at 5 p.m. New York time, once the daily candle is closed. Same with the 8-hour chart. It's only on the close of a candle. I make the analysis based on the candle, where it is within the charts. I do like Bollinger Bands, and I like reversal trades off of the upper and lower band if I see a reversal opportunity. And the continuations, I like to see a pullback back to a middle Bollinger Band. I use support and resistance levels, pivot points, so horizontal levels, and price action as well. Always like to see like the price come back to a round number and bounce off a number ending in 00. It's a good, strong, like psychological reason for a change in direction. And I always try to, on most of my trades, have a stop loss protected by a round number as well. So you know, I took a buy trade on the US yen on our webinar yesterday, and we had, I forget the exact level without looking here, but we had a round number as a buy trade, so we had the stop loss below a round number. So it just added some more weight and more certainty with our stop loss. So yeah, a few technical indicators, but not a lot of the traditional ones that you see on a lot of charting packages.
Got it. And I guess, what are the key hours that you work in terms of live trading with your members?
Key hours. So we always trade 5 p.m. New York time. So that's the close, 5 p.m. Yeah. So the close of the day on the daily chart is when we make our analysis. So I've been posting on our membership site since 2010, every day of the trading year, apart from around Christmas and Easter, every day since 2010. And at that time, we publish trades, specific trades, and strength and weakness on the daily charts. So the daily chart closes at 5 p.m. New York time, new day opens. So at that stage, we analyze where the market's moving on the daily charts, take any specific trades. And at that time, I can also go down and scale down, and I look at the 12 hours, the 8-hour charts, and the 6-hour charts, because they all close at the same time. The other time that I always like to trade is 5 a.m. New York time. And at that time, because that's then the European session, I look at the 1 hour, the 2, the 4, the 6, and the 12-hour charts. So if I can look at my charts at or around that time, it doesn't have to be specifically at that time, but because I'm publishing this, I always make sure for me it's that time. But for everybody else, you don't have to be there at that time. It's around about then. You can trade in 30 minutes per day, like 15 minutes each time, and cover your trading quite easily.
I like that because, like, man, by the time it gets to like 5 p.m. over here, like, I'm already so like just annoyed from like the day. Like, you want to like you want to look at that's like the best, but that's the best time to look at the charts because it's the days. That's like the calmest time in the day for the markets, like the 5 p.m. Eastern time when the market's closed.
America's shut, Europe's shut, Asia's not open.
Yeah, it was like you finally have a moment to breathe, so you can see everything that happened, and then you kind of see what's going to kind of happen for the day. So it gives you the clearest kind of picture of what might happen for the day that's coming ahead.
It sets you up for the next 24 hours.
And then when you get there at 5, sorry, go for it.
I was going to say, the only thing, just to let people know, you do have to be careful at that time with placing trades because that first half an hour to 1 hour between 5 and 6 p.m. New York time, the spreads can be quite wide at times on certain pairs.
Oh, yeah. And choppy.
So you just got to be...
You
just got to be mindful when you take the trade. But apart from that, we're making the analysis on the close of 5 p.m.
Yeah. It's normally when like the candle's just getting started too, so you'll see some random movements as well. So
yeah. But the good thing is once the day's closed, nothing's changing. Nothing's changing on the completed candle. Your pivot point, your support resistance levels, any indicators that you used are fixed at that time. And that's why we always trade on the close of a candle. We don't trade like midway through a candle.
Yeah, and then trading again at 5 a.m. that kind of gives you some time as well because that's just before or after the European announcements, and that kind of gears you up for like any big moves that are set to happen for the North American market to come.
That's right. Yeah. And we don't have to be there to take the trades, because I use limit orders. I don't very often use market orders. I use limit orders. So to sell higher than the current price, buy below the current price. And so when I take the 5 a.m. New York time, right now for me, that's 11 p.m. at night. In our winter, it goes to 9 p.m. But, so I'm not sitting there through the US session myself watching these trades. I put them on at 5 a.m. New York time, my 11 p.m. Put the trades on as limit orders. I've got my stop loss in place. My risk is set. I know that every trade has a maximum of 0.5% risk. That's just my personal risk tolerance. And I leave them and I go to bed. And next time I look at my charts is in the morning when I wake up and I see what's happened. So because I've got low control risk and high reward to risk in my trades, I just leave them. I'm not stressing about them. I'm not waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning needing to check them. I don't do any of that.
Just let it go. Let the markets do its thing, and just the risk reward is set in your favor. And as long as it hits a certain win ratio, then you're fine.
Yeah. If you can get like a 2 or 3 well, we had a guy on our webinar last night. This was a slightly extraordinary trade, but he made a 10.5 to 1 trade. Risk,
wow.
That's very rare. I've got to say it's not very common, but if he's risking 0.5%, he's just made a 5% gain on his account on one trade. Most of our trades. Sorry.
What asset class is that on? Is that like a crypto?
He was trading the pound Australian dollar.
Oh, okay. That's leverage. Okay. Damn. Okay.
Yeah. It had a 10.5 to 1 on a pound Australian 12-hour chart. He showed it to us. He showed us everything on the webinar last night with our clients. So that was quite like a rare, high level. Most of the trades would be 2 to 3, sometimes 4 to 1 reward to risk.
Did the market have like a breakout or a certain move? I gotta like look at the charts.
No, he had a round number to protect the trade. He saw the setup, but it came to his charts late. He's a guy that lives in Dubai, and he said that he saw the market retrace a lot, and because we had a round number, like without looking at my charts, I can't tell you the exact number. It was last week. He took it last week, and I could find you the setup. And he had a round number, so he saw that there'd been a lot of resistance, liked the candle pattern, took the trade at the market, had a very, so relatively small stop loss on the sell trade, our normal profit target, and it worked beautifully for him. So good on him.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like my ADD is taking over. It's like, where do I take this conversation? Do I take us, back to Russia? Do I take us back to some questions? And I don't know, my ADD, because I have 2 pages over here. So I guess my ADD will take me back to Russia and Ukraine. Like, right. A lot of the stuff is it a potentially a wag the dog type situation? I think I saw on some private posts that there was some people on the ground, like some bombs going off this morning or something like that. Although with my wife being pregnant and her driving me nuts, I haven't had a chance to actually look at any news even just yet. So who knows what's actually happening in the world? Does it like potentially lead to like even a greater threat of like a World War III type of situation?
Gosh, you hope not. I heard this morning on our news that a lot of 20-something countries have got together and put like a lot of sanctions and restrictions in place and asset freezes on Russian banks, etc. So I suppose like a lot of these things, the guys in top wouldn't really affect them, but the average guy on the ground is going to be affected. Price increases and lack of restrictions. So yeah, gosh, you hope not, don't you? But then you look at who's in charge around the rest of the world, and Mr. Putin seems quite a strong-minded guy, and the rest of them don't seem to be doing a huge amount about it.
Well, with all those people, with all the sanctions, does Bitcoin help, or does the crypto space help? How does that work? But everything is also so traceable within the crypto space, so it's also, but money cannot. But money is like the ocean. It's like water. It can flow anywhere.
That's right. Yeah, I suppose I just look at it from a living so far from it, in that the thing that's affecting like pretty much all of us is the inflation around the world, the cost of living, cost of oil. I mean, here in New Zealand, everything's got to be shipped in from thousands of miles away. So the cost of living goes up, and the thing that I can do for myself, my family, and this is what we'd like to help other people with, is that you can kind of almost like future-proof yourself in some ways through trading if that's what you want to do. Because luckily the cost of fuel, inflation, and everything else doesn't affect trading. So you can, if you're on a standard job, whatever your salary is, unless that, for us, our inflation, I think was 6.1% or something like that. And I think in America, you got up to 7 or something. Unless your salary's gone up 6% since last year, you're effectively gone backwards. If you're just on a straight salary. And, with the pressure on businesses around the world, there's probably very few businesses that can afford to keep paying their staff the inflation level plus make money. And they're all being decimated by COVID, or a lot of people have anyway.
Or
especially
Amazon.
if you work in a restaurant or a cafe or a hotel or something. You can't afford to keep, people are lucky to keep their jobs, let alone increase their salary. So I always look at trading as being quite isolated from a lot of normal other jobs. And I think that's a massive benefit that we have over almost everybody else. And give you another example from just yesterday. We had one of our clients who's over in Hong Kong. He's like a lot of our clients now are trading for prop firms. and they're getting into prop firm trading. And the guy yesterday said he'd made 8% in the last 2 days on 100,000 prop firm account. Now he's on a 70-30 revenue share. So 70% of $8,000, 7 8 56. He's just gone and made $5,600 in the last 2 days, trading effectively someone else's money.
Wow.
And because he's working, no, he's not doing that every 2 days, of course, 8% every 2 days, but that's what he's done in the last 2 days. And he showed me all the trades. And I suppose what that does is that allows him to pass the prop firm challenges, get up to bigger levels. He'll soon be trading up to like 250,000 for prop firms. And you know, he started at 10,000 and he's worked his way up through all their challenges over the last 6 months.
Oh, we got some funded trader programs too. Oh, that sounds interesting.
Okay, yeah, great.
So
great. And I think that's a big part of the future for people who want to learn to trade, because a lot of people, they come to me and they go, oh, look, my account's not big enough, or how am I going to give up my job if I can only afford a $1,000 account, or I can't afford to do your course because I have no money left over. And those are like very common issues that people have. Or my wife doesn't want me opening up a 10 grand account because she thinks I'm gambling, and all those type of issues. And I've always said to people, the key to trading is forget how much money you personally have or can allocate to trading today. Just, it's irrelevant. You could come to me and say, Andrew, I've got $1 million in my trading account, and I go, fantastic. You're probably still going to lose money if you don't know what you're doing. You know, your account size today is completely and utterly irrelevant. What you have to learn to do is to be able to read the market and trade for yourself with low drawdown, low stress, low emotion, low drawdown, and consistent gains. And once you can do that, then with, like you've mentioned, you offer prop firm money. It's unlimited after that stage, but you've got to run before you can walk before you can run, I should say. And you've got to learn how to do it first. You've got to learn to ride the bike first before you can, you know, go around on a motorbike.
Yeah. Oh my! Oh, you're speaking our language over here, and like it. When the team was building the program, I didn't quite understand the value behind it, and then as soon as I understood it, I was like, "This is it. This is to help someone who actually has talent, who can follow, who can formulate their own rules and follow their own rules." Like you said,
yes.
Because so many people can trade, but they don't have that much money to trade. And well, what's the best you can do? So if you actually are going to trade with rules, what's the best you're going to do on a $250 account with your rules, right? What's the best you're going to do? It's going to be a while, but with those rules, if you could trade on that, you know, and do well, you could be successful on $1 million account and a $5 million account and a $10 million account with those rules. Yes. It's seeing that so often that traders don't follow the rules and they land up where they are. But it's for that person who's got $250, like, you know, they're like, oh, what am I going to do? I just got to risk my account if I'm going to want to make any money. So if they're most likely going to blow out their account to make what, $250. But if they put $250 and they get an assessment, they do well with that assessment, and then they get to the next level and the next level, like you said, passing all those levels, they're building a level of consistency. They're building a track record, and that's what money follows. I guess money follows success, and by being able to show you can beat success, that's why you should get the money, and you deserve it. Because so many times you meet money managers and they're like, oh, I make lots of money. I'm like, oh, okay. But then they see like, oh, they take lots of risk, and they're like, they don't care about the client. And it's like, you're just like, barf. But you know, so, but having someone who's humble, who actually puts the effort into perfecting their craft, like it's nice to have an opportunity for them to be rewarded. Absolutely.
And there's two things that massively affect your trading apart from your skills and your strategy, and that's your head and your heart. You know, because the emotions are a part of trading, and that's the reality of it. And so if you start off on your $250 account and you can, you know, trade that properly, And like you said, you move up to a bigger account and prop firm account money. Because you've then done that over time, you've built up that confidence in your own ability and your strategy. And if you're still trading the same risk percentage, you know, when you do move up to a $10,000 account and you're risking half of 1%, you're now risking $50 per trade, you know, and you build up to, you know, like a $20,000 account and you're risking $100 per trade. It's still the same percentage, but it's bigger money. And so when you then get to like this guy that's up, he's up to 100,000, he's still risking half of 1%. It's just he's risking $500 per trade. But if the trade goes wrong, he's still losing the same percentage risk. If he gets a 3-to-1 trade, he's still making the same percentage gain. And it's on a bigger monetary value. But he's not actually doing anything different. He's not going out to work and working, you know, 10 times harder, or needing to get on, you know, 10 times more clients or anything like that. All he's doing is pressing another digit on the, you know, another key on the keyboard. The trade's still the same. The return's still the same. The risk is still the same.
But so often than not, they'll let the dollar amount get to their head and they'll change things. So, but yeah,
they'll stuff something up.
yeah. So if they can keep it, but if they can do it, that's why they climb the levels and they deserve it. And for your 250, you can be trading $1 million, and then on that $1 million that you're trading, hey, you're making what's the split that you're making? You're up to 20%, 50%, 75%.
Well, this guy yesterday is 70-30. 70% for him.
Yeah, exactly. And you're making like 5% a month or even 2% a month on that. You're still your 250. You're still making way more than your 250 than by doubling your 250 trading aggressively.
Exactly.
So yeah, so it rewards you for taking the time to trade money responsibly over time. So that's why I was like, okay, this actually makes sense. So.
And quite often, luckily less these days, but I used to get a lot of people, you know, and I said, look, I don't think you're the right fit for us. And I'm quite open and honest about that. You know, we want people and traders on board that are the right mindset as well. And the guy that comes to me going, oh, you know, I've got $1,000, I want to live on it. How do I make 10,000 a month? And it's like, you're kind of in the wrong, you're either talking to the wrong person or you're in the wrong business.
We're talking about 10,000 rupees, maybe I don't know what a rupee is.
Or a yen, 10,000
exactly.
Yen.
Exactly. But and you have to be careful because like I love people and like everybody deserves respect, but sometimes when someone comes in and like you deserve respect too as offering a service. So sometimes they might say like think because they're a part of your service they demand like 24 hours of your attention, and it's just not fair to that assumption. And like I've seen that a lot when people come in with unrealistic expectations of earning as well. So
yes,
it's important to respect the time and it's hard.
You've got to keep it real and keep it like any other business, you know. Treat it properly and it will look after you. Yeah,
exactly.
And it's exactly the same as, you know, I said like on the previous 2 weeks up until like this week, it's been pretty quiet on the daily charts. We've had like last week we had 4 out of 5 days on our daily charts where we took no trades. We've had 3 weekly chart trades and we've taken a lot of shorter time frame. But for 4 out of the last 5 days, to our clients, we've gone, there are no daily trades today. Next day, there are no daily trades today. And you go, come on, market, give me something to trade. But the point is that's a part of trading as well. If there are no trades there on a particular time frame, don't force them. You know, there's no point in taking a trade just for the sake of taking a trade and then it ends up losing. It's far better to go, well, I'm either going to look for a bigger time frame, a shorter time frame, or just don't take a trade. And I'll come back tomorrow and see what there is. And then we get days like yesterday where we've had 10 out of 10 on our membership site and 2 out of 3 on my webinar yesterday. So 12 out of 13 trades that I posted in the last 24 hours for people to follow have all been profitable, all hit their full profit target, and 1 lost. You know, but leading up to that, it's been just a little bit quiet. So that's another skill of trading, is trade when the market gives you those conditions. If the market's a little bit quite according to your strategy, don't trade.
Yeah, it makes sense. And over trading is like the biggest thing that leads to a trader's demise like that.
Yeah.
It's just over and over and over again. But it's also that feeling of greed, like I've experienced it. It's like, oh, I want to make money today, and then you're like, oh, let's make money, let's be greedy, and then you're like, oh, let's just end the day with a loss. I don't want to take any more loss, and the next day you're starting and you're like minus when you start, and then that just leads to like a circle, or like a cycle.
Spiral downhill.
yeah, exactly. And that's just where you got to like take. Even before you say, hey, let's make money today, like you said, are the markets ready to make money today? Maybe that's
right. Exactly right. And from my personal point of view, being born on a dairy farm and farm for a number of years, that's one thing I think although dairy farming and trading have got nothing to do with each other really.
Oh, well, I used to maybe 9 years ago, watching the New Zealand, trading the New Zealand dollar, the Kiwi, watching the dairy reports come out.
That's right, the monthly dairy reports. Well, that does affect our rate. So, but one thing I think that it teaches you is that, one, still hard work is what gets you there, and persistence and consistency. And also in farming, whether it be the weather, disease, markets, whatever it is, things go up and down that sometimes you just cannot control. And you've got to go with the good times and the not so good times. And that's the same in trading. If you can be consistent, you're milking cows twice a day at the right time of the day. You're trading at the right time of the day. You're farming every day. You trade if that's what you want to do every day. You take good weather, bad weather. You take good trades and conditions, bad trades and conditions, but you always get through it. And so in some ways, there are actually a lot of similarities there.
Yeah.
And I think also trading, if you're trading full time, you're effectively self-employed. So you can't treat it as let's go and sit on the beach all day, and like the internet portrays it to be. There are, there's work and effort involved like anything. And so, yeah, I think those people that can be almost like sort of rule themselves properly, self-motivated, will do well from it.
So how do you encourage, like, for yourself and maybe your community members, like a healthy lifestyle? Because trading can be downright unhealthy if done improperly.
Yeah, and look, I know you said you got first kid on the way. We've got 5 kids. I live on 11 acres here, so I've got lots of outside stuff to do. I fly a helicopter.
Helicopter? What?
Yeah, I'm a helicopter pilot, so I fly privately, and
cool.
So there's lots of other cool and fun things that we like to do as well, was just trading. And that's why if you can trade like that, that once, twice a day, we're not glued to the screens watching news announcements. I'm not glued to the screens watching 5-minute charts. I don't do any of that. So I know that right now, as I'm talking to you, I've got an hour and 20 minutes until the 5 p.m. close. I can talk to you for another hour and 20 minutes and it's absolutely fine. It doesn't affect my trading, and so I know when I want to go and look at my charts, and I just work around that with other things that I do.
Well, isn't that what trading should be like? That's what everybody dreams of. They're like, oh, what you described, financial freedom, place a couple trades in, go do my hobby is what I really love to do. And then, trading provides me a way for, me to further do what I love to do, which is like you said, hobbies, family,
absolutely,
nature, like that.
Aviation fuel,
aviation,
mechanics, repair bills, all those things. It's an expensive hobby. But you're right. It allows you to go and do those type of things, and that's why. And it's taken years to get to that stage. Of course, for me, it's not just an instant fix. It takes time to get to that stage, but that's again why I think the coaching works for people, because it shortcuts all that. And that's why.
Well, one of the Super Bowl commercials was like from TD Ameritrade, like what people, the image people have in their minds of what it looks like to day trade, and it's like this guy like studying for day and night and meetings, and he doesn't know whether to buy or sell under pressure. Like buy, sell, and sometimes trading can get complicated like that. But I don't think trading should be like that. I think trading should bring you freedom. It should bring you comfort.
Yeah.
It should bring you joy. It should not bring you stress.
No. And it always amazes me when people, you get the Monday to Friday kind of mentality that so many people have, is that they love a Friday and they hate a Monday. I'm the opposite. I love Monday when Monday comes around, or your Sunday evening, my Monday, because the market's open again.
Yeah, because you got time to get ready for the market. I like your day, man. My day is like the market's closed and I'm going to bed. For you, like the market's open and you're waking up. So you got.
Yeah, that's right.
I like the way it looks. Yeah. Like I lived in like the Middle East for a few years, and that was a very good time frame for trading. I remember that.
Yes.
So I was like, well, maybe a little few more hours. Your direction would probably be better. So yeah, it's ideal. It seems ideal.
It might be one of the safest places to be right now as well, with the way things are going. No one cares about us down here on our two little islands at the bottom of the Pacific.
There you go. You just have to make sure your governments are okay there. That's all. So
yeah, that's not promising right now either.
Yeah, well, speaking of crypto and whatnot, there's like there's the whole Canadian Convoy and like I guess there's a run on banks with people taking out cash and stuff like that from all the major banks after I guess the Canadian Emergencies Act, which is unprecedented, allows them to use military action against like citizens, and I guess they're saying they need to freeze the bank accounts of anybody who donated money to the truckers, and yeah, so I guess that's a pro for Bitcoin. So anyone who's getting their bank account frozen is probably trying to liquidate into Bitcoin as quick as they can.
Yeah, it's quite scary that they're suddenly bringing those powers in.
Well, it's a peaceful. That's the thing. It's supposedly a peaceful protest, but like I think what they did was they weaponized the old grannies who live in around the Ottawa area and said they're like these like old white racist grannies, and they're like, oh, they won't let us. They're disturbing our peace, and they're like, that's it. We're bringing in the military because it's hey, they're honking their horns. This is a protest. They're angry.
That's right.
And the worst part is the leader won't even talk to them or acknowledge them. So like what they're angry about is they're angry that they're considered the heroes of the pandemic for bringing food and all the necessities of life, back and forth across the border. But now, they're forcing them to get vaccinated. Whether you're pro-vaccinated or not, it doesn't matter. I think everybody's allowed their own choice, and to take someone's job away from them because they have a choice or choose not to, it doesn't make sense. Like, getting into politics or not, but it's hard because politics is an everyday life. Like Canada's a G7 country where they're enacting powers that have never been enacted before, and it's peaceful people. So in terms of the markets, like Russia, I think is an underscore to the story of, if you look at, if you ever look at China as a story in the markets, and they talk about personal freedoms and liberties, well, they've, it's taken a lot more for them to bring out military powers against their people versus what's happening in Canada.
Yes.
So maybe Ukraine is a wag the dog for the personal freedoms that are being taken away from people in Canada. So they kind of, don't look at that, and maybe that's a taste for the future, what's to come. But I don't know.
It's quite scary. And look, we have exactly the same thing going on here. We've had for the last almost 3 weeks protests in Wellington, which is the capital of New Zealand, right outside the government, like the Parliament. And people have come from the top of the North Island, the bottom of the South Island, and have all met in Wellington, which is kind of like a central area. And it's the capital. And we've got the same thing. We've got doctors, nurses, teachers, firemen, truckies, farmers, all these people who, like I said 2 years ago, were the heroes and kept the country running, who have now, and again, it's not a lot of it's not even pro or anti-vaccination. It's the pro-choice. There's a lot of the vaccinated people who have been injured or worse, and a lot of people have lost their jobs, their businesses, their careers, and yet they are just peaceful protesters. And like with your guys, they want to, the media portray them to be a bunch of, militants and white supremacists and everything else. And it's like, well, 50% of the crowd as Pacific Islanders are Maori. So
and one of the opposition
concerned.
and one of the opposition members in the Parliament of Ottawa is like, listen, I support what the truckers are doing because they have a right for freedom and they have a right to do this. And they're like, my grandparents were Holocaust survivors, so you're therefore calling me a Nazi in return. They're like, so the leaders aren't having honest conversations with the people. They're treating the people like children, and I think that's the first thing that's got to change in politics. Well, politics has to change, and journalism has to change too, because journalism is also controlled by the state. And I don't know anything that's happening inside New Zealand because that doesn't support the news that's going on in
because it's Canada. Not good, and it's similar to your Canadian news. You won't hear ours because it's a similar type of thing happening in a different country. And it's the same, that the government won't talk to the people. They're just refusing. And it's like, and it's not nasty people and violent people. It's just peaceful protests about concerned people and who lost a lot. And it's very, very similar what they're both doing.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of journalism, with journalism being so important to news and information reaching the markets, and because markets price in all the news into the price, what do you think is going to happen to I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for price arbitrage moving forward because of misinformation or disinformation. That could be developing now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I suppose because I am pretty much a technical trader, I do look at what the charts are showing me. So I've often found that with news trading, and I've tried it years and years ago, trading the US non-farm payroll figures and those type of things, and and you're putting straddle trades on just before a news announcement. Now, years ago, I used to make some pretty good money out of that once a month on the US jobs. But of course, then now spreads widen, prices freeze, and the movements are not there like they once were. The price within 20 seconds used to move like 300 or 400 pips sometimes years ago. 15 years ago, and they don't do it now. And so for me, I've always sort of thought about trading the news as my opinion, which is quite dangerous, because you might see a news announcement and go, that's really good for the economy, therefore the currency should go up. And I might look at that same announcement and go, yeah, it's okay, but it's not as good as it should have been or was expected to be, and therefore I think it's going to go down.
Why do you think I called this trading WTF? Because it's like, what
that's right
is going on? You're like, it's supposed to go this direction.
And it doesn't, and so, or it was factored in, but it was factored in to be more than it was, so it went the other way, and that becomes the issue that I've always had with news trading. Whereas if I look at a chart, and I know it's hit a certain level before, and it's probability suggests this pattern's going to work, then I know that probably 6, 7, 8 out of 10 times that pattern will work. Then it takes away my personal opinion on what's happening in the market, and I look at purely the chart and the price. And that's why I've always concluded that for me, technical trading's a far better option, because I can look at the news and just look at it purely from an interest point of view to see what's happening, but not really influence my trading.
I guess we're coming closer to the end. Like before, you kind of were talking a little bit about, what isn't the right type of person. Like, what is the right type of person? Like, what are some qualities?
The right type of person
Yeah.
Yeah, so the right type of person, I think, someone that wants to like challenge themselves. That, sure, a lot of people want to have a change of career over time, but I think it's quite dangerous to think that too soon. You've got to want to learn. You've got to want to be excited by, like for me, price action and patterns and numbers and that type of thing. I think if you're going to be a technical trader, that's kind of, in a funny way, that's going to kind of excite you.
I love Tetris as a kid, so I totally love things fitting in patterns. So I get it.
Yeah, and I'm the same. I love maths and numbers and things. But to me, it's my kind of art form. I'm not really a drawer. I can't sketch. I can't really play music, but I can see patterns, and I see trading as my art form. So I think if you like that type of thing, yes, if you want to look at it as making some money, over time, great. But don't come into it thinking you're going to give up your job next week, because realistically, that's not going to happen. You've got to give it time. You've got to be prepared for some learning. You've got to be prepared for some times when you go, oh, it's like learning to fly a helicopter. It's not plain sailing. There's a lot of headaches, and you come home and almost in tears going, I cannot hover this thing. How do I do it? It's,
Well, I've never flown a helicopter, so I'm not sure what that's like. What's it like to fly a helicopter?
It's hard. It's probably the hardest thing to do, to learn and to hover it. It's just incredibly hard. But
you probably have to learn how air works and stuff like that.
Oh, airflow and engines and wind directions, and you got both feet, both hands. Then someone talks to you on the radio, and it's all happening at the same time, and it's just an utter nightmare to start with.
First, I got to drive stick, and then we'll work to helicopter. Right?
But it's the same thing as trading. There's all this charts going on, there's all this news coming out, and there's one indicator saying it's going up, the next one say it's going down. If you look at it on a daily chart, it looks like it's dropping. You look at it on an hour chart, it's going up. And you're going, what do I do? And so I suppose you've got to kind of be the sort of person that wants to learn all that and understand it. And if you do, then you're the right sort of person. If you're the person that thinks you're going to double your account every week and turn $100 into $1 million next year, you're probably not the right sort of person.
Okay, so pretty much you got to want to, land a plane or a helicopter without any propellers or engine type of thing. You got to be that crazy. Okay, yeah.
Throw the key out the window as you turn the engine off. That's the one.
and still know you're going to make it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're taught by someone and you learn a process of how to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And worst case, this is what's going to be the end result. So that's the key.
Yeah, it's a safer, worse result in trading than flying.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen? Hey, live to fight another. We live to fight another day, and
that's right. Yeah. So that's the sort of person that really. That's the sort of person that really works. Someone that's got an interest in what's happening in the world as well just helps as well.
Curiosity, yeah, natural curiosity for sure, definitely helps. Yeah. And I guess as we're winding down, maybe you want to tell us just how people can get in touch with you, what it looks like being part of the Forex Trading Coach community.
Yeah, sure. And that's what it is, Michael. We're real strong on our community. We're working from home. Behind my little background behind me, I'm sat here in my office at home. We don't work in high rises in, around the world in London or Paris or New York or anything. We're real people trading this. So we have the website's called theforextradingcoach.com. That's got lots of information on it for people that want to either they're new to trading, and we've got webinars for new to trading people, or we've got webinars for people who are a little bit more experienced and frustrated to find out about what we do. Within our membership site, we post our daily trades every single day with entry levels, reasons for taking the trades, strength and weaknesses of currencies, all that type of thing we publish daily. Each week we hold a live 2-hour webinar. So mine was in the European session just yesterday. And then I work with a guy over in North Carolina, Paul Tillman, who lives in North Carolina. He runs my US webinar sessions and looks after our forum site and email support, etc. during my nighttime, his daytime. we hold live webinars, daily trades. We've got software that works on the MT4 and MT5 platform, indicators and price levels, etc. And yeah, we've got support guys, support site, incredible forum site that's really well populated, with a thread dedicated to different time frame charts where our clients will post trades, and a chat area where you can all like communicate as well. And we're just really heavily into our community of like-minded people. Our forum site's not like most other forum sites out there where some people dominate and it all just goes to pieces. It goes like most Forex forum sites, they're just a complete mess.
Yeah, one troll dominating it, right?
Oh, they're dreadful. Yeah, and we've been through all that and seen the mistakes of that, and we don't have that. We've got people all trading the one system, the one strategy, helping each other, same common goal, and I think that makes it really quite unique and really good. We're there posting trades in real time for people to learn from and to earn from as well. The webinars are live, people can ask questions. We're trading on live accounts in front of people. We show the dollars and cents going up and down, winning trades, losing trades, everything. It's no hindsight trading, and it's nothing like hidden. It's all there above board or real for people to follow. And awesome. Yeah, and like I said, at the beginning, the daily trades have been there since 2010. Consistency is what we have as well, and so they've been profitable every year since 2010 for people to follow.
Yeah, I figure. So yeah, like you said, the gray hair is from family, not from trading. So like, I love what I do, but with the kid on the way and my wife, I only started getting gray hairs after I met my wife. So yeah.
You're just gonna get more and more.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. So Andrew, I really appreciate you taking the time to make this work. It was fun making the time zones. Time zones happen. So yeah, thank you. And for anybody watching, they can check out the forextradingcoach.com and find out more about what Andrew and you can do trading live with him in the community. Yeah. So yeah, check it out.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
All right.